Hey, I am making veggie stock. I pulled out tomatoes yesterday to make tomato sauce. So I had 10 pounds of tomatoes. So in here I have 10 pounds, the skins from 10 pounds of tomatoes. And then a bunch of other veggies. And I'm going to fill this up and add water. Over there is the start of my tomato sauce. But before I get too much farther with this veggie stock, I gotta add the next important ingredient. I'm gonna be doing altogether, it's gonna end up being about 14 quarts of water. And I have 3 pounds of veggie scraps. And then I shook this up really good to make sure I got all the mother mixed in. And I'm going to add a little over a third of a cup, between a third and a half. And then I'm going to fill it up with water and get it going. We'll be back. Alright, here we go. I got 14 quarts of water, 3 pounds of veggie scraps, between a third and a half a cup of apple cider vinegar, and then a quarter cup of sugar. I'm going to mix it all up, turn it on medium high, and we're going to let it boil for about 3 hours until everything inside is mush. Now, there's nothing specific you have to put in your veggie stock. You don't even have to put tomatoes in there. Veggie stock is vegetables, so you can use any vegetable you want. You can even use 3 pounds of the same vegetable and get celery stock or onion stock or just tomato stock. It's all up to you. But I throw scrap and I save scrap and I throw it all together and I make myself a veggie stock that's filled with vitamins and minerals and nutrients. Alright, we're going to let this go and we'll be back. Alright, we have been boiling for 3 hours. And vegetables are nice and squishy. Let's see if I can get a piece. See how it squishes so nicely? So, we're going to turn it off, remove the lid, and let it cool for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to start straining it. We'll be back. Now all I'm doing is straining it. And I'm using a big strainer because we want as much of the tomato matter and vegetable matter to go into the veggie stock. And that's all we're going to do is drain it. We're going to get about 8 to 10 quarts. And don't get rid of your veggies because we're going to use them for something else. We'll be back. Now we're just going to put our veggie stock into our jars. Make sure that you stir it up in between each scoop so you have a good mix of everything. We're just going to fill them up. We'll be back. Alright, now that we've strained it and drained it and got all of our veggie stock into our jars, we are going to take this mush and we're going to do it again. Only this time we're going to add 8 quarts of water, quarter cup of apple cider vinegar, and a quarter cup of sugar. Alright, I gotta get more water and put it in there, and we'll start the boiling process again for 3 hours. We'll be back. Alright, we're getting clean our rims. Now that they're all full, put a lid on it and a ring on it, and put it in a canner and process it on the vegetable that takes the longest. Now, I know veggie stock might have a different process time, but this is technically considered rogue canning. So what I do is I process it as if there's actual vegetables in it. And then I process it at the length of time for the vegetable that takes the longest. I had carrots in here. That takes the longest. Carrots are 70 minutes for a quart jar. So I'll process the jars for 70 minutes in my pressure canner. We're going to get all the lids and rings on these and into our pressure canner, and we'll be back. Alright, we got our jars in there, and we got the water filled up to the top, the bottom of where it just starts to round up on the jars. Put the lid on it. Turn it on medium. For me, that's 6. And let it go. This will come up to a full steam. We let it vent for 10 minutes, and then we'll put our weight on it. We'll be back. There we go. Full vent. There we go. See? Now we're going to let it go for 10 minutes, and then we'll put our weight on it. We'll be back. It's been venting for 10 minutes. We put our 10-pound weight on it and wait till this comes up to a rattle, which will let you know that it's processing. We processed it for 70 minutes. We'll be back. That is processing. We're going to process it for 70 minutes. We'll be back. It's been processing for 70 minutes. We're going to turn it off. We're going to leave it alone. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to mess with it. We're not going to push buttons. We're not going to pull this off. We're going to let it cool down 100% naturally. And then this button here will fall. And that will let you know that all the pressure is gone. All the pressure is released. And you can take off the lid. We'll be back. Button has popped down. We jiggle it. There's no more steam. So we're going to open it away from ourselves. And then we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes and come to hopefully a lower temperature, so when we pull them out, it's not quite as much of a shock. We'll be back. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. All my lids have popped while they were in here. This here, we'll make sure we pull out carefully. The boiling we've got going on, that's a really good indication that we've gotten it up to the proper temperature. And we don't have to worry about anything. Alright, we're going to let these sit for 12 to 14 hours until they're cool and we can remove the lids and put them on the shelf. We'll be back. Hello. Alright, so I am going to make a rogue canning recipe, and I am going to make a tomato base for soup, for stews, for spaghetti, for any kind of Mexican meals, for all kinds of stuff. So what I have in here is 5 quarts of tomato innards and 4 quarts of water. Now you can add fresh ingredients if you want, but I add dehydrated. So I have a cup of dehydrated wheat or 1 whole fresh wheat. I have a 1/4 cup of dehydrated Thrive Life peppers or 1 whole fresh pepper. Please excuse the hissing in the background. I'm canning. And then half a cup of dehydrated dry life onions, or 1 whole onion. And then I'm going to mix it all together. Turn it on medium and just let it come up to temperature, nice and warm, so that we can can it. Now this is technically a rogue canning recipe, and this is not technically, quote unquote, recommended by the ball canning book, but I watched Grandma can tomato innards all the time, and you just can them like it's meat. So 90 minutes in a pressure canner. Alright, we'll be back. Nice and all heated up and steamy all the way through. So I'm going to can this in quart jars. We'll be back. Alright, the next step, see, I've got all my beautiful finished tomato product into my jars. And then what I'm going to do is add to each jar 2 teaspoons of oregano, and 2 teaspoons of garlic, and then I'll stir it all up and debubble each and every one. We'll be back. There we go, 6 jars, all filled, lids on, spices in, debubbled, all ready to go. Now remember, this is considered a rogue canning video. So this is a video that technically, and this is a recipe that technically the ball canning jar doesn't agree with. But I processed it more than enough. Alright, into a water bath canner. This is going to go for 90 minutes. We'll be back. There we have it, out of my 6 quarts of tomato insides. I got out of 5 quarts of tomato insides, and then all the others, I got 6 quarts of tomato base. I can use it for pasta, spaghetti, enchiladas. I use it as a chili base. I use it for all kinds of things. Alright, thanks for coming along and learning how to do this. And remember, stay positive. Bye. There we have it. They're all done and out of the canner. I got 22 jars of veggie stock out of the 3 pounds of veggie scraps. But there's only 21 jars here because I used one of the jars last night when it was still warm to make dinner. So, 22 jars of veggie stock out of 3 pounds of veggie scraps. Thanks for coming along on this adventure, and I hope you learned something. Leave a thumbs up down below if you like this video. Hope to see you again in my kitchen next time. And remember, stay positive. You can do it too. Bye.